Hi guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel, and I thought I would have a go at the Anti-TBR Book Tag. So I've seen a couple of these videos floating around on BookTube as of late, and I will link the videos that I have seen down in the description below for you guys, as well as the original video and the original creator's channel. I just thought this would be really fun. I always talk a lot about the books that I really enjoy reading and the books that I really want to read, so why not have a go at talking about the books I just don't care about. So the first question is a popular book that everybody loves that you have no interest in reading. And I am going to get a lot of hate for this, and I'm prepared to get a lot of hate for this. Fangirl by Rowell. In fact, any of her books I just don't have an interest in reading. But this one in particular, I just really could not care less about. And I know that loads of people seem to be absolutely loving this book, and there is so much hype around it. And I think the fact that I have seen so many positive things about this book, and I've heard so much about it, just really puts me off. And to be honest, the story just doesn't really interest me. Doesn't sound something like I would enjoy. It's definitely not something that I would read normally, and yeah, like, I'm sorry guys, but this one is just a big no from me. Question 2 is a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading, and I'm gonna go with Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I'm not a massive classics person anyway. I mean, there are a few that I really do like, and I have read classics in the past, but I do struggle with a lot of them. This one, I don't know, like, I've had people recommend this one to me so many times, and I just really don't care for it. It's just not something that I think I would enjoy. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I should read this. If you can try and persuade me to read this, then you're a champion. But it's just not something that's on my TBR, and I will probably never read it. I don't think I'll enjoy it. Sorry. Question 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. And I'm sorry, Sarah J. Maas, but you're the answer for this question. Sarah J. Maas, like, I've never read any of her stuff. I haven't read Throne of Glass, I think that's what it's called. I've seen that book everywhere. Kingdom of Ash. Really couldn't care less for it. Court of Thorn and Roses is a series I am just not ever going to pick up, and again, it's one of those series that I know people love, and I've seen it everywhere, but I have also seen some pretty bad reviews about this book and the series in general. And again, I just don't think, maybe I would enjoy it, I don't know, but I'm just really not that bothered about YA fantasy that much anymore, and I'm just not that motivated to pick up any books by Sarah J. Maas, unfortunately. Again, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I'm prepared to put myself in the firing line for this. A question that's a tag on to question 3, so we're gonna call it 3.2, is a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. Now, I'm going to be repeating what a lot of people have said in response to this question in their videos, and J.K. Rowling, I'm just not interested in reading any more of her books. I love Harry Potter. It was a big part of my childhood, as it was for most of us, and I will always have a soft spot for Harry Potter, but I do recognise its problems, and some of the things that J.K. Rowling has been saying as of late just don't sit right with me. I don't support her views. That's not what I'm about, and I don't want to be giving money to someone who is going to be discriminating against minorities and just not being a very nice person in general. So anything that J.K. Rowling puts out in the future, I won't be buying, I won't be reading. and I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. If I never read another J.K. Rowling book in my life, I am cool with that. Another author that I wanted to mention who is pretty problematic, AJ Finn. So he's the guy that wrote The Woman in the Window, which is a thriller, and I have absolutely no idea what it's about. And it's a book that's been on my radar for a while, and I did think about reading it, but I've heard some things about AJ Finn that just casts him in a very bad shadow. And the more I read about him, the more I am less likely to ever pick up his work. And I'm not going to go into detail about AJ Finn. I will leave you to go and find out for yourself. But yeah, I'm never going to read his stuff. I'm not going to be supporting that kind of behaviour. Question 4 is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided that their books are not for you. So I have one of their books here, actually. Andre Ackerman, I think that's how you say his last name. So he wrote Call Me By Your Name, which at the time of reading it, I quite enjoyed it. Now when I look back, this book has a lot of issues. And I tried reading one of his books at the start of this year called 8 White Nights, and I didn't like it. I couldn't get into it. I don't like his writing style, for one. It's just very flowery, and it just feels like a lot of the time the stories are going nowhere. That's what I felt with 8 White Nights anyway. It was just so boring. And he's probably another author that I have a few issues with in general. So yeah, I don't think I'll be reading any more by this guy. I know Find Me was released this year, which is a sequel to Call Me By Your Name. And I did have it on my TBR, but that's gone now. I don't care. No. Question 5 is a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to read but couldn't get into. For me, it would probably be literary fiction. It's a genre that I have struggled with, but I have found some books in that genre that I have liked and have enjoyed. So I'm not going to rule it off as a genre that I have no interest in. It's just that I tend to err towards, more thrillers and fantasies and things like that. But we'll see what the future brings. Who knows? Maybe it will become my favourite genre. I like to keep an open mind. Question 6 is a book that you have bought but will never read. And this is a book that I unhauled at the start of this year, actually. I got rid of it and sent it to charity. And that book is Buzz by Anders de la Motte. So this is the second book in the Game trilogy. And I read Game last year. It was a reread because I'd read it at some point in 2014, 2015, somewhere around that time, and I bought the 2 books from the works because they were in a deal, and I thought, okay, these sound quite interesting. When I read Game for the first time all those years ago, I really enjoyed it. I read it in a day, and it's like this spy espionage kind of thriller. When I reread it last year, I was amazed at how bad it is, actually, and I just lost all interest in reading the second book after that. And I'd had the book for like 5 years and I just never picked it up. So it was time to let it go, and I will probably never read it. I will probably never finish the trilogy. It's just not worth it. Why waste my time on that when I've got other books I want to read? Question 7 is a series you have no interest in reading, or a series you have started but DNF'd halfway through. So probably what I said earlier, A Court of Thorns and Roses is a series that I am really not that bothered about. If I never read it, it's not going to upset me, But I will give mention to this book here, Eve of Man by Tom and Giovanna Fletcher. So this book isn't particularly bad. It was alright. I read it in a day. Pretty quick, pretty easy read. Interesting story. However, the concept behind this book wasn't really that well explained. And I don't know, I was left feeling very disappointed by this book. The second book, Evolution, has come out. I think it came out this year. I think it's out. It might not be, but I think it is out. And I just have no desire to read it. I have no desire to finish this series. I really couldn't care less anymore. And it makes me really sad because I got this book for Christmas 2 years ago, and it was one of my most anticipated books of that year. And it was a letdown. So if I never read the second book, again, I'm not going to be upset. I didn't like the way this book went, and I'm probably not going to like how the second book goes either. And we're on to the last question, which is a new release that you have no interest in reading, and that book is Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. Now, don't get me wrong, I was a twihard back in the day. Like, I twiharded so hard my eyes would pop out. I was obsessed with the books, the films. I loved it all, you know, and I would sit and reread Twilight over and over again. Very fond of those books. They're not amazing looking back. There are a lot of things that I would change about the books if I'd written them myself personally, but still like them, hold nothing against Twilight because it did, you know, it was one of the catalysts for my reading journey. However, I could not care less for Midnight Sun. I don't want to read Twilight again, but from a different point of view. I don't see what the point is. I don't see what kind of flavour it is going to add to the series. I really don't care about Edward's point of view, to be honest. So, again, if I never read this book, if I die before ever picking it up, I've not lost anything. I've probably not gained anything either. I don't want to read a repeat of Twilight. It's just, you know, if I want to experience Twilight again, I will read the Twilight books. So yeah, sorry if you have read this and really enjoyed it this year, but nothing you say or do is going to convince me to pick it up. Alright, so that was a lot of fun. Very different. I kind of got some things off my chest there a little bit. Yeah, that was my anti-TBR book tag. Feel free to make your own anti-TBR videos. If you're watching this right now, then you're tagged. Go and do it, and then feel free to link me to your videos so I can go and watch them while I'm still potentially in lockdown, or when I'm not at work, when I'm bored. If I ever will be back at work. Who knows anymore? But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave comments down below with answers to any of these questions. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Please don't hate me. If you like this video, then feel free to leave a cheeky thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos from me in the future. And I will see you all in another video very soon. Bye guys.